False unity ultimately brings disunity. By constantly telling lies and shying away from the truth, at some point down the line, it's going to come back and bite you. If we're looking for true unity, then we will always be truthful. Welcome to the channel. I trust God is blessing you, and today is the 27th of January 2026. I was reading through Proverbs chapter 27 this morning, and 4 verses jumped out at me. And it builds a bit of a picture which really flies in the face of our modern world and our modern culture. Allow me to just paint this picture for you as I give a little bit of commentary on each verse and then wrap it up. Simple message. Proverbs 27 verse 2, let another man praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. You see, what it's saying is self-praise is no praise at all. It's worthless. And even if we surround ourselves with people who are what you could call a bunch of yes men, yes women, yes people. They will always seek to praise you and never tell you the truth about certain issues that you may have, certain character flaws. You might be on the wrong path and they try and bring you back onto it. No, excuse me. They avoid all that. You see this especially in political circles where a leader has got all these people, a bunch of sycophants that have surrounded them, and they just lavish praise on you non-stop. And it's worthless. And if you're not telling somebody the truth, they could be heading for disaster, and you don't even know it's coming. This is why it's saying here, it's good to let a stranger praise you. Got no vested interest. You're getting an unbiased and honest and genuine statement from that individual or those individuals. And it is much more likely to be genuine praise if it is praise indeed. Ultimately, the greatest praise you can ever have is from the Lord. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Verse 6, a very, very famous verse, and it just flies so much in the face of our modern world and the modern church. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. I'll just deal with the kisses of the enemy first. See, again, go back to what I was saying about people praising you all the time. Often people will praise you, but they've got a hidden agenda. And again, excuse me, politics are very, very well known for this type of thing. Praise after praise lavished upon you, but there's a hidden agenda there. There's no sincerity, and they're looking to bring you down. But they do everything to look like your friend. The kisses of those friends are like the bite of an asp. They'll kill you in the end. You see, faithful are the wounds of a friend. A real friend will tell you the hard things about yourself. When you're going astray, you're on the wrong path, a real friend will come and tell you the truth. They won't gloss over it. They'll just give it to you, hit you for 6. But it's very, very important, friends. We need to keep each other accountable. And it's very important that we do this with our friends and even with ourselves. If we're honest with ourselves, look in the mirror. Who are you really? And what are you doing? Being honest. Be very honest before God, and He'll show you your faults. And If we're not honest with God and allow Him to show us our faults, I can guarantee you at some point He will send someone along and they'll tell you the truth. And if you ignore them, He might send another 1, 2, 3. And if you continue to ignore them, the pit awaits you. No, I'm not talking about the pit of hell here. I'm talking about by constantly ignoring these things, you dig a pit and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Ultimately, your heart is hardened and you will fall in that pit. And you might be there quite a while before God in His grace and mercy sends someone along to pull you out of the pit. Accept the truth, friends. Very important. Verse 19. As in water, face reflects face, so a man's heart reveals the man. Now, I recently did a YouTube short where I talked about this. Out of the abundance of the heart speaketh the mouth. The treasures that are most prevalent there in your heart, those are the things that will more often be on your lips. What sort of fruit is coming out, friends, when we speak, especially when we're in a tight situation and something comes out? Because what's coming out hasn't come from some sort of a vacuum. It's come out from a treasure trove. What sort of a treasure trove do we have? You see, the more we accept truth and the more we're in this word, the more we will be shown what's wrong with ourselves and allow God to clean it up. The more we allow our trusted counselors, advisors to tell us the truth, they come along, and the more we pay attention, the more likely we are to stay on the narrow path. So you look in the water and you see your face reflected in the water. And if it's a bit wavy, sometimes that face looks quite distorted. Maybe there's something ugly deep inside that's being reflected. And so a man's heart reveals the man. It always will. It always will. And we come to two verses side by side that I want to finish on. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks, and attend to your herds. For riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure to all generations. See, all of us have a flock, maybe herds also. Attend to them very diligently. What is your flock? It might simply be your family, or you've got a close circle of friends. Think about this. You see, you might have a close circle of friends, say of 5 or 6. Now, if you're all doing the same thing, you're attending to your flock diligently. So in other words, it's the one flock, but we're all a shepherd of that flock. In other words, we're all looking out for each other. We're holding each other to account. We're helping all of ourselves to stay on the narrow path. In that way, you've got that strong core, that strong connection. There's much less chance of issues entering into your life, which will ultimately impact the lives of others. You might be a pastor and you might have quite a big flock, but attend to your flocks and herds diligently. See, the picture that's been built up here is we're starting off by making sure we don't get carried away by false praise. We're allowing our close circle of friends to speak to us and tell us the truth about ourselves. And we need to be willing to accept it and then take that to the Lord. Be careful of those coming into your circle who are your greatest friend and they kiss you all day long, the kiss of death. Our heart reveals all. Because when the going gets tough, we often start saying things, maybe start shouting. What is it that we're saying? What is it that we're actually shouting? What is in us? Because all these people that speak into our lives, they are helping to build up that treasure inside you. And by taking on a lot of falsehoods, you're building some false treasure, which will not bear good fruit. And then we finish up by holding each other to account. And that is through unity, by accepting the hard truths. And Jesus and the apostles were never shy at giving out the hard truths. Friends, we're living in a time of great separation. God is building his end times church, and he's looking for those that are humble enough to get on their knees before him, to accept some of the difficult truths. Again, I've always loved this example. King Saul was a man so full of arrogance and pride, just standing up with a hard heart. But when King David was, in fact, just think it when Samuel approached Saul, and Saul had been given a command by God to slaughter all of the Amalekites, and he didn't fully obey the command. And Samuel pointed this out to him, and Saul tried to justify what he'd done. He says, "Oh, but we've kept these animals for sacrificing to the Lord." But he'd been told to get rid of all of them. But he justified, he wouldn't accept the truth. And then Saul, Samuel was also very, very upset that he'd kept King Agag alive. And that shouldn't have been. In fact, it ended up with Samuel himself having to kill Agag right in front of all the people as well. But Saul just kept trying to justify himself. Eventually, he did realize that he'd broken because he was backed into a corner and he admitted it. But when King David was confronted with his sin with Bathsheba by the prophet Nathan, David immediately humbled himself. He knew when Nathan had spoken to him, "Oh, wow, I'm guilty." We've got to have that same sort of heart, friends. We must have that same sort of heart. Because the unity that's been built in many churches and many communities today is a unity where you're not allowed to offend anybody whatsoever. You just tell them good things, good things, good things, good things, but you never tell them the hard truths. That unity is a false unity and it will collapse. And you may collapse along with it. Avoid such situations, friends. These are great days, but understand the season that we're in. God's building his end times church, and he is looking for people that are committed to him, that are very humble. They have no problem admitting their faults. They have no problem accepting good, godly counsel. Those are the ones that will populate this end times church, which, as I've said before, it will be so strong, it will be united, it will be in one accord, it will be incredibly powerful, nothing will be able to stop it, and it will be well known for its love. So, friend, let's maybe just take a moment or two to think about ourselves, to look in that mirror and be very, very honest with ourselves. That's what God wants. Don't wait. Don't keep ignoring the warning signs and wait for the messengers to come and tell you the truth. And even then, you keep ignoring, and then you end up in a pit. Take it from someone that's been in quite a few pits in his life, because I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but God is slowly but surely forming me. And may the way He is forming you be a lot less painful than what has happened to me. God bless you. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye for now.